Hi, Fiona. Welcome to Legal Practice Intelligence.
Hi, David. Thank you for having me.
Do you want to introduce yourself to probably those few people that don't know you?
I'm Fiona Kirkman. I'm the CEO and co-founder of the legal tech product FamilyProperty. I'm also principal of Kirkman Family Law, which is a family mediation firm focused on resolution without court. So accredited specialist in family law and family mediator. I love dispute resolution technology and educating the next generation of lawyers and mediators.
Yeah, I imagine it'd be very rewarding. I guess you would have had some very sort of rewarding stories and seen a lot.
Yes, definitely. To help families going through separation, it's hard work, but it's good work and it's rewarding, and to help them move on in a really difficult time of their life. But also now to help the family lawyers, empower them with technology efficiencies to make their practices more efficient and timely and cost effective, and then pass that on to their own clients. So it is rewarding work, but challenging and hard at the same time.
So I guess, how did you get here? How did you actually get to the point where you had a legal tech company? I mean, I always love these backstories.
Yes, no, well, it's been a bit of a journey. My background, as I said, is a family lawyer. I worked in 3 different law firms for 4 years each, becoming increasingly specialised in family law and then family mediation. And my husband is a technologist. So
wow,
he came to me and I would be around the kitchen table saying, oh, it's frustrating, the admin involved in family law matters, intake, disclosure, all the maths, the drafting of documents, really time consuming, error prone and really costly and stressful for clients. And he would say, well, why aren't you using more technology? Where there's a lot of admin, there's a lot of repetition, there's a lot of opportunities for automation. So sat down and came up with a business plan and became, I guess, a couple in law, myself and technology, Tim and my husband. And then we were really approached by Professor Patrick Parkinson with the initial idea for FamilyProperty that he had. And then we built that out as a couple in law and technology and took that to market.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I guess, gosh, with what's going on in the economy right now, and people worry about inflation and recession, and I guess the massive adjustments in the labour market, there's all these cost pressures on law firms that, and also people are expecting more from lawyers, and I guess that's probably where your product set would come into play.
Yes, well, there's a lot of, due to COVID as well, there's been sadly an increase in separations, people living locked down together, realisation we can't live forever together. So there's definitely been an increase in separations and then an increase in the work for family lawyers. So it's definitely a growing area of practice, family law. But with that comes the challenges of there being a lot of admin in family law, a lack of, I guess, experienced family lawyers, and a lot that are burnt out as well, and needing to do things more timely and cost effectively to help the families. And that's where technology can come in and really help automate the admin of a family law matter and free up the family law professionals to focus on the outcomes and focus on the legal advice and strategy and providing referrals and helping them reach resolution without court, ideally.
Certainly the interpersonal part of the matter is actually, it's a massive amount of, like, almost like part psychologist, part counsellor, lawyer, all sorts of, I guess, all sorts of matter of different skills and hats you'd have to wear. And I guess admin's one of the ones that kind of like, because you're automating that piece of it means that there's less of that kind of thing, and all the facts and figures are accurate, so they can work on this side of things. Yes,
it's definitely a holistic role, and part of the new changes to the family law system is really changing the cultural mindset. Instead of us lawyers being adversarial litigants fighting for your clients to get the best outcome, the reality is a lot of these families have children together, and despite the separation, they have to effectively co-parent moving forward. So it's best for them to reach resolution without the court imposing a decision.
Yeah.
So it's really important to sort of work together, and for the lawyers to change their mindset to be more problem solvers and dispute resolutionists themselves, and educate their clients on how to resolve things amicably.
Which is a fantastic turn. I mean, that's what you kind of want. You want to be in a position where you kind of, where I guess, you know, the admin's been done, you know that they've collected the right facts and figures once. You not have to sit there 10 times and sort of tell the same sort of bits of information, because you know it's all included. You know that when people go into a meeting, that everything's actually correct and right, and all the right processes have been followed, and basically at the end of the day, it's just coming down to a negotiation of what life looks like, I guess, in some sort of ways.
Yeah, well, that's really what our aim is with Family Property, to empower the family law professionals to focus on those outcomes rather than admin, and really to make it easier and more accurate to prepare for a matter, model our offers, parenting financial offers accurately, and document those outcomes, so that, as you said, they can focus on hopefully what they love to do, which is that legal advice and the emotional support and cross referrals to other professionals, etc. So yeah, that Family Property really has 5 main features. It helps with the intake questionnaire to get that right information at the right time, so that everyone's better prepared for the matter. Secondly, there's a disclosure portal that provides recommendations as to what documents are needed, and a secure way to get those documents and then disclose those to the other side. At the heart of Family Property, there's an interactive balance sheet, quite an innovative balance sheet with sliders, where you can model out, compare and save proposals. So if it's a 50-50 split versus 65-35, what does that look like in real time? And it's really visual and helps identify the points of agreement and disagreement. We then also have a parenting side of things. So we've got a parenting calendar, so you can see what does a week about arrangement look like, what does every second weekend and half the school holidays look like. Again, a visual tool to help clients see what the actual parenting arrangements look like. And lastly, there's a document automation engine to help in the population of all the relevant documents. So we've got balance sheets, proposals, parenting plans, and then we're building out the relevant court forms.
That sounds amazing. I mean, I guess that only comes from the fact that you've actually practiced in this area and you know it really well, and you know what little gremlins there are, the things that create problems for people, and the things that just bug people that they want to get done. And I guess, I mean, really, and this question sort of comes from I guess it's a curiosity I've got. I mean, if you're I was talking to a family law practice recently, and one of the challenges they've got is actually hiring staff, getting good, 3, 4, 5 year experienced staff to just come in and actually help them. I mean, does this actually mean, because of the systems you've got in place, does it actually mean that effectively that they can do more with existing lawyers and probably actually utilize more paralegal sort of services in the practice and that sort of stuff, and not have to chunk up as much on sort of more of those sort of 3 to 5 year qualified lawyers?
It does really help provide a more streamlined process. So it's an expert system that is really end to end as far as how to do a family law matter. And if you combine that with a practice management system like Smokeball that we integrate with, it really helps with all of the admin and the collection of information documents. So it really helps provide that guidance to the junior staff as well. And we're being an expert system. I think we've got 5 former family lawyers on our team that are working in sales, in product development, in training and client success. So we really bring that family law expertise to the product. And that really shines through, and the feedback that we get is that it really has that family law knowledge within the product.
Brilliant.
Quite unique,
Absolutely brilliant. And I guess there's been some sort of changes recently with family courts and also the Federal Circuit Court of Australia. that would have actually impacted law firms. I mean, how's that? What implications there?
Yes, big changes. The biggest changes probably since the commencement of the Family Law Act in 1975. So it's the merger of the Family Court and Federal Circuit Court into the new Federal Circuit Court and Family Court of Australia, the FCFCOA, bit of a mouthful. But it's not just the merger. It's, as I said, a whole new philosophy and cultural change that's really being pushed from the top down. Of family lawyers, as I said, being more problem solvers and dispute resolutionists. And there's a new overarching purpose, which is really being pushed by the court, which is to facilitate the just resolution of disputes according to law and as quickly, inexpensively and efficiently as possible. So there's a real push with dispute resolution, cost management, and how can you run a matter more efficiently.
Perfect.
And the court is really focused on embracing innovation and technology and transformational change and pilots, etc., to bring about those efficiencies as well. So there's a lot of change. But I think it's good change for the family law profession, but most importantly, the clients going through separation.
And I guess your systems actually your systems back into that as well, and actually provide all documentation and steps and procedures and processes and things like that will be required with it. I guess any change that come from that merger, you guys are actually backing that up with technology.
Yes, so we provide, like, there's new brochures and information that you have to provide to clients. There's a lot more education that you as a lawyer, I guess, when you first meet with them, educating them on the importance of dispute resolution and the pathway of the court process. There's a big push towards mediation, so not just prior to going to court, but if you're in the court system, you're referred back out to mediation within 6 months of commencing proceedings. And that greater obligation of lawyers to coordinate and participate in mediation and try to reach compromise and reach agreement without a court decision. There's a lot more preparation work as well. So they're really front-ending the work. So that there's a clear understanding of what are the issues, what are the points of agreement, disagreement, so narrowing those issues before you commence proceedings. And if you do commence proceedings, there's a lot more court forms that you need to fill in. So there's a greater cost of going to court, which is also an incentive to try to reach an agreement before going to court. And as I said before, costs is more, there's more visibility, more transparency, because you've got to provide these cost notices, not just to your client, but the other side, the court, as to what your cost estimates will be for the whole matter. And lastly, there's an enhanced role of registrars and more training of registrars, which means that frees up the judges to do the pointy end of the final hearings. And it means that aim of reducing delays and backlogs, we're starting to see that come to fruition because there's more registrars dealing with, I guess, the interim issues, and more pilots that are running sort of specific matters, like if it's a COVID issue, it will go in a COVID list. If it's a family violence issue, it might go into the Lighthouse project. And we also have a family property pilot in the Sydney registry, which is rather exciting. And that's focused on conciliation, preparing for and participating in conciliation conferences or financial mediations within the court.
Oh, brilliant. And I guess you've just run a conference recently, so I guess on the East Coast, and I mean, what were some of the takeaways and what was the reaction to that?
Yes, it was a very big conference, a lot of work, but a lot of fun for our smokeball and family property teams. And really the idea behind the conference was to join forces as smokeball and family property. I think it's one of the first of its kind, a legal technology companies running a family law conference, but to really help family law professionals navigate those changes with the FCFCOA, and also look at how technology can assist with bringing about efficiencies in managing the FCFCOA. So I only just looked at the feedback, and it was excellent in the evaluation surveys. I think we really spent a lot of time in selecting the speakers, and the feedback was that they were very experienced, very insightful, and it was across the whole facet of the family law ecosystem. So the judge, the senior judicial registrars, the mediators, the lawyers, a panel discussion, etc. And then we tried to bring in the theory versus the practical tips. So we did these tips and traps as to what things you should be aware of and do, what things you shouldn't do. And then, of course, the technology, bringing in how technology and innovation can help with efficiencies, and how Smokeball and FamilyProperty can assist. So, yeah, I guess the feedback's been really good, and it was great to be back face-to-face as well, and really help with providing those tips as to how family law professionals can better navigate the FCFCOA and really become thought leaders in this field of family law, because obviously Smokeball and FamilyProperty, working as an integrated product, really are focused on the family law world.
Yeah, no, brilliant. I attended one of the sessions. Actually, I was there for a little bit I think it was last week, and yeah, no, really well attended, and everyone's listening very intently, great speakers and things like that. So I think, yeah, really successful. So that's no, well done there. I guess, what are you sort of seeing over the next year or so? What's going to happen with family law practices? What sort of trends are you seeing?
There's a number of trends. As I said earlier, there's an increase in work for family lawyers. There's opportunities there because it's just such a growing area of law. So family law firms, but also we're seeing these family law specialist mediation firms, and then there's specialist family violence firms. So there's that increased specialisation. There's some challenges though with that, as the recruitment, as you had said, of experienced family lawyers can be difficult, and also burnout. It's very challenging and hard and difficult work sometimes, and we need to manage our own well-being as family law professionals.
Oh, totally.
Secondly, this increase in mediation and dispute resolution. I run a group that has 600 odd family mediators around Australia, and we work quite closely with the Mediation Institute and other training organisations for mediation. We're seeing a sharp increase in people training as mediators and collaborative professionals as they start to learn more about how to be problem solvers and dispute resolutionists. And we're seeing, I think it's great, obviously being a mediator, increase in mediation and matters resolving at mediation.
Yeah.
But then, of course, there's some challenges with that because not all matters can settle.
Yeah.
There's some matters where there's complex issues or complex people or both. And then those matters where one party is perhaps being completely unreasonable, it is a very long and costly path to get to a final judgment, which involves a lot of more preparation, court documents, and a lot more costs, etc. So we're seeing that. Other things we're seeing is costs, visibility and cost transparency. So things like Smokeball has this auto time tracker, is really good to be able to give better estimates as to costs.
Yeah.
We're seeing an increased understanding around family violence and mental health, which I think is a great thing. There's more training of the court and professionals, more so than there's ever been. But we still have a long way to go, I think. I'd love it to be mandatory, family violence and mental health training. I'm a big advocate for that. But I think that there's still more we can do. And then, of course, technology adoption. I think COVID has been a good thing for the legal industry, and also the court embracing innovation and technology and pushing it from the top down. There's a lot of opportunity there for law firms and mediators to embrace technology to bring about more efficiencies in their firms. But we need to push some along. Change management can be hard. So just look at opportunities for innovation and technology within your firm.
Fantastic. And how can people find out more about your offering?
So, of course, we have a website, social media, email, familyproperty.com.au. We've got a business development management team that is willing to do half an hour demo of family property and see how it can help your family law practice. And feel free to reach out to me on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. I love to chat and network. So we'd love to hear from any of you.
Fiona, thank you so much. You've been very generous with your time today, and I reckon you've got a whole bunch of stories you can tell, a lot of massive amount of value you can actually add to any sort of family law firm. So that's brilliant. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, David.